Hi everybody. Today I'm about to show you some upgrades to the algorithm that it's taking place in my recent videos due to some requests that I got from some of those who have it, other of those who are interested in and would like to understand more. I've been working in this weekend and in these previous days to some upgrading features that I was just starting to talk in the previous video. So now you will see that a bit upgraded, and this is about what I'm about to say and I'm about to show, as well as some kind of other experimenting, so with a new account, with a new trading activated both manually and semi-automatically, so we can see the progress and understand the interface of what I'm building day by day with some improvement and also with some good feedbacks that are coming from you guys as well, because of course I'm sharing my knowledge on my videos and you can see that my algorithms are reflecting what I am explaining, but at the same time some of your observations are quite interesting and appreciable, and then can become also an improvement to the interface that then it's available as upgrade. Okay, so let's move further and let's see at this moment how the algorithm is working. Okay, so let's make also a brief account history snapshot, so we can take all history so that we can discuss it later. Custom period, save as detailed report. Okay, let's detail statement. Okay. Okay, and then we have here, then we will see it later. Okay, so let's first of all show some features that are running in the algorithm that are new, and then we can talk about the performance, because there are some trades here you can see they have just started today. I was working till some days ago to make all the improvements that you will see both in these panels and also in the interface. And today, when I decided to start to test also with some new improvements that can facilitate the trades, then a trade can always be copied on a real account, and therefore you use this for an analysis, a brief analysis where you can run all the tests that you want. And then I decided to run the algorithm between the ending of the London session and the opening of the American session. So this is crucial anyway to understand also when the price is at what point in the market sessions. So what you see here, there are the three main blocks that are now every time changing at the beginning of the day until they are completed, which explain and show the limits and the boundaries of the main Asian session. Of course, we have some kind of space in the middle. We know here that New Zealand is starting with its markets, but then we can configure somehow the main Asian session in these hours, then it comes the European session, and then lastly the American session. So these ranges of time are very important also to understand where the big hands has put the money, especially at the beginning or at the ending of them, and in relation for what is coming after. So we can have a bit of backward analysis, like we see that in the ASEAN session of yesterday the price was quite ranging, but for sure they placed some selling orders here and some buy orders at this level. Then when it developed the European session, then the big move happened, and then in the middle, because there can be big events at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of these main sessions. Okay, so it's important to have them together, and then if we see the overall behavior that we can estimate from the behavior of the day after and comparing the situations, how it's proceeding and where the begins should have put some money indeed in order to make the prices move. Okay, so this is a very nice feature that it's good also for analyzing the markets and analyzing the price action related also to the market hours activity. Another feature that has been injected in this algorithm is this kind of price level. Let me show you a recent, where it could have been. Okay, here in the CAD Swiss franc that still has nothing, because I placed some manual orders, and I will show you also why, because I read some values, but also the algorithm is working semi-automatically generating pending orders. And actually I cancelled by mistake one order in euro dollar that then I activated manually, but it's going a little bit in negative, but it's just some kind of thing that I should have made anyway. Let's take, for example, the CAD Swiss franc, so we can see here. Okay, I also added this feature, this pink level here, which designates in every currency pair the appropriate level where to place the orders of buying or selling. So see here we have a sell limit that I put manually, which is this one, and there is also a sell limit created by my system automatically at this level, which is ranging, and that can be also upgraded if this is shifting drastically. And as you can see how the price is moving towards this line of approaching to this level, that can be good anyway for a selling point. There can be some times that these price levels are not reached by the price, and therefore we're missing the trade, but because maybe there was too much activity in the past. But sometimes it's better not to take a trade that anyway that can result in a major risk exposure than not taking it. So we accept only to sell high and buy low. This is very crucial, but when we sell high, we have to catch the moves when the price is rising accordingly to a maximum level that can be established in an overall understanding of how the market behaves in multiple sessions that occur through the days of the week. Okay, so probably this order will be injected, probably not, I don't know, but I am also stating on a quick analysis that I had to make, because I repeat, I started to open the charts and running the algorithm working properly and with all the features that I have added, along with the afternoon of the European session and the beginning of the American session. So majority of the games for the day are already made. So in this case, my algorithm would have not worked, because it's working, of course, but for minor currencies, because there are now different solicitations in the market as the moves has already been made. So I had to act manually and reading the values and trying to behave and trying to estimate what would have been my possible edge for the day, considering that I'm entering the market at this hour. And this is very crucial, because otherwise, if I would have been studied the markets here, I would have had a different performance, probably also negative, I don't know, but it depends always when you start trading and the analysis you're doing backwards and some kind of outlook that you can guess in relation to the probability of your understanding of the situation. Okay, so this is another feature which is also visual. So in the chart module, as well as in the semi-automated trade and hedging strategy module, are now very well defined. So even for a manual trading, you place the order around this area. It's not a unique level. You have always to take it as an area, and this is why there are this is this yellow line and this line. You have to somehow then try to get an average of what is the movement, okay, if it's possible. Well, then these are the main, graphical that makes sense anyway, because when we observe in the markets, we're saying the markets also in a weekly range, so we need to understand what happened in the main sessions that are affecting the currency and their monetary mass and their performance in the market. Okay. Then we got another improvement. This time, as you see, this section is much more clear now. Some values of the so-called corrections I was observing, now they found place in this section, which are more likely to be used with this kind of module, which are reflecting anyway a situation where, so CAD Swiss franc was in sell, that's why these orders have been somehow generated. Now the situation is quite stationary in the sense that the correlation outlook doesn't signal a sell situation, but of course, as you can see, that was the output, so it was sell. But anyway, it's still detecting by these values that are coupled together that the base, so the CAD, is falling and rising or somehow oscillating, and the quote is rising. So there could be still negative movements, but now the risk here is a bit higher. So it can be taken with risk. And of course, with risk, there's also gain and opportunity of profit, but there's also opportunity of loss. So we have to be careful that if we enter the markets at these hours, we have to take only the best trades. Okay, so I counted also on euro and dollar in relation to a strong Swiss franc today that appeared strong in the major currency pairs. And also, if you can see, I also took the New Zealand dollar yen, which in this case shows, if we go in its own chart then for the analysis, we see here that we have a negative balance between base and quote, and now we are having a base, so New Zealand dollar ranging, and a quote that it's falling, so it should be like, a retracement in up, which it is. But, and here it comes a third algorithm, which is a kind of this algorithm that it's flexible for manual trading only and for multi-time frames, and I'll show you in a second, which is this one. Of course, now we have some graphical stuff here, but this will be taken off because it will be only a multi-time frame. As you can see here, we are analyzing euro dollar, and we are having 1 hour time frame. These values, okay, these are the calculations, and everything are related. These ones to the euro dollar. All the rest is always analyzing all the market, so all the currency pairs. But this time, not daily, like each and every algorithm that it's running, but it's doing the analysis in the time frame that we are observing. So I went a bit further and I selected the weekly time frame because I am evaluating my charts on a daily time frame. I am evaluating the price distribution on a daily time frame in the day. I wanted to see a bit further and to see if some projections are also confirmed in a longer time frame like the week. And by doing this and going to the weekly time frame, if we compare the same chart, euro dollar, let's do this. We have here the chart euro dollar of the u.U.F.O normal, and this is daily. Okay, so even if I switch to another time frame, these values are always related to the day. And then I have this other chart which is the same principle that works this algorithm. I put it with this charting so we see it's different. But anyway, does relate to the weekly in this case. But it could be also a minute or 5 minutes or an hour. From this perspective, I see a larger time frame view. And can be that certain values are confirmed, enhanced, or reduced by a daily forecasting. So by going in this to weekly analysis of the whole currency pairs and how they are behaving actually, but in a weekly time frame, I've noticed strongly that the Swiss franc is taken, okay, at the same values we see here, around 600 and 600 plus. So, and also in this case, when we shift from in the multi-time frame, we have to wait at least 3 minutes that all these values are recalculating properly. Okay, so we have to give at least 3-4 minutes of calculus first and then read the charts. So I've noticed, I couldn't avoid to notice in a longer time frame, so the week instead of the day, that the Japanese yen is as much as strong as the Swiss franc, while here we see only in the daily representation a Japanese yen strong, but not like Swiss franc. And we see a New Zealand dollar that here is weak, but not the weakest because we have Australian dollar at this moment, but here we see that divergence gives more sense to New Zealand dollar. Okay, as a negative, the most negative pair, the most weak pair. So by myself, by having also this different time frame analysis, I decided to open one and then another because I decided to put a bit of more in sense of the future, accordingly to a vision of a larger time frame with New Zealand dollar. So you can see there are some currency pairs related to Swiss franc that are generated today, because today Swiss franc is getting it's appearing as a strong currency pair to trade, so to buy against other currency pairs to sell. But I also decided from the analysis in the longer time frame to give a chance to this New Zealand dollar yen, which seems to be the best ratio and the best choice for as regard the longer time frame analysis to be successful. And this is behaving quite nice, as I can see. So I try to differentiate also my portfolio at this moment by trying to trade accordingly to different time frame analysis. Of course, I also got some previews as I was entering the markets right now and not in the morning to also my Excel sheets in order to have a point of view also from that perspective. What else? Yeah, automatically now we have these values of base and quote, and that is telling me all the time if base and quote are rising or falling, so I can also have a more fast reading of these elements, both in this case in the multi-time frame expert advisor, but as we can see in the most, let's say, coherent with the day expert advisors, which is expert advisor, which is this one that I am showing since some weeks to you for your evaluations. What else? So if we analyze in a brief see here I have a new account created for this purpose, so to test the algorithm. Of course, the algorithm generated some orders. That was an order generated by the algorithm, and then canceled some of them, of course, because there were new spots, new price level where to generate the order, and if the order is injected, otherwise it's not. Okay, so at this moment we are having only this negative operation because it's the 9 euro that I closed by mistake my trade here, but then I re-enter that. But at this moment we are not having this balance. We are having an equity of 500 euros more, as you can see here, and at this moment we are up to 5% in our I just started the trade, so I cannot expect, when the markets are already moving, that everything is working, flawless, that are no retracements, people that want to take profit from their trade, so there will be even huge retracements. At this moment of the day, I'm trying just to guess, analyzing also with the new features of my algorithm, what the best trade can be. So if I would stop these trades now because I decided, okay, for today it's done, now I have in this session that it's going towards the end, and then there will be the new day and I want to close my trades, here I will have an up, consistent up, because now we are not at minus 3.7, but we are at plus 500. Okay, so other things to say about the algorithm is that now everything is quite better arranged in the interface of reading what is going on, and so the panels are more defined, and also in the charting we can appreciate more clarity, at least for us, for what is regarding the situation in one more day. So let's say that now for me is enough to trade for today, and let's generate our final test. Service detailed report, yes, and we got this. And what we have is this. And this is the result of more manual trading than the algorithm at this moment, for as regard the pending orders injected. But anyway, it was a very quick analysis. In 10 minutes I got a kind of understanding of the major currencies, how they were working, and of course now I took also a negative trade because I could have let it go, that euro dollar that I re-entered at that, but that's fine. In the overall situation, what I've gained now at this moment, and I can say for today I'm done, is this. And of course, if I would have traded at the beginning of the day, but I had no opportunity today, I would have made something different. I can start my trading platform very in the morning or let it work for all the night. This is also a good behavior that's from time to time I do. So when I wake up in the morning, I have already a lot of information to read about, like reading the newspaper, I make my coffee, reading my estimations that become a kind of fundamental news analysis in real time of the monetary mass that it's expressed in that day, in that currencies. And most of all, as I normally always try to guess and to understand on which point of the Forex market sessions am I, in order to understand if we are at the openings or at the closings. These minor but quite effective indicators of market sessions, that of course embeds the high and the low, because we see here that they have a different height, and of course if we are using the candlesticks, so we can see also the highs and the lows, they are in real representing the highs of lows of those sessions. So they are quite, different and organized for this purpose. Again, then, from a situation of starting, like we always have some negative stuff because of the commissions or whatever, in less than few hours, okay, just analyzing and making a discretional, operation, which was anyway manual, that is the result. And I can say for today, I'm fine. Tomorrow I will start to analyze the market earlier, because tomorrow will be possible for me, and I will have different results. I could decide to enter the markets earlier and exit the markets as earlier as possible, as soon as I got my my target profit. And at this moment, I am deciding not to go further, because I see this kind of behavior, for example, in the American session, which is revealing, hey, the order can go against you now, because look at what they are doing. So it can be everything now, because we are at the ending of the day. But the very important things that come out from our analysis can come from the very first hours of the day, and then development in the ASEAN session, and in the middle between the ASEAN and the European session, but also comparing different days and different sessions, because anyway, what is the action that has been created here in the markets and from the big hands must have a consolidation or a reflection in another situation. As you can see, at this moment, while I'm talking, I closed my trades, but my algorithm is still running. I'm still with the auto trading on, and he selected Australian dollar Swiss franc as a currency pairs, placing a sell limit order are at the price level of 0.76217. When this happened, normally, let's say we are at the beginning of the day, okay, the only thing I do, and I know, is that this currency pair has been selected among 32 currency pairs, and potentially I take all the currency pairs off. I am directing myself to open that chart, so Aussie Swiss franc, and I see that here it has been created a sell limit order at this level that has not been reached yet. This is the classic order of Australian dollar, Australian dollar, Swiss franc, that they have this strong divergence, and this is why they are placed as the main currency to observe. And if you see here, I was a bit unlucky, because by not placing properly the orders or arriving late or whatever, I don't know, look, this has been already occurred, okay, and what did I do? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I just move it, but see, it could have been properly injected, and I've been quite unlucky, but that's fine. I have other trades, and as I said, this is a very an hour where a lot of things can happen, because we're going towards the end of the market. Anyway, this is the way it works. So we see that an order is injected, is not activated. We can always have control on this, like let's say placing stop loss, or the moment it's injected, we can place a stop loss and a take profit. We can redesign it. We can say, okay, let's say that it's gonna take here. Let's put a bit down, even if we have now to reinterpret again everything in this situation. And we have to understand that we are at the end of the day. So if this behavior, it's confirming that the base is not rising but falling, and the quote is rising even in the next hours, I can think about keeping this trade, I can also decide to close this trade and or not to make it run, even if I delete this order, because let's say it has already passed. I was too late. That was the level, because you see this is the range. It could be that it passes again, but if it passes again, it could be more consolidation on that area. I can also decide to close this order, and automatically after a minute, if the algorithm thinks again that it's good to place an order, it will place it on a safe level price, and then it would be my understanding of the market to go back to and just briefly read, these values, see what is going on, and understanding if it's a case to keep it or not. Because if you see, there are more orders that, in order to this line to move up or down, they are readjusting accordingly to the movement of the price. Anyway, for those who were asking me about, creating another situation where from scratch you go and you put some orders on, both manually or with the algorithm, and then you create a profit that can be sometimes huge, and because you are in a good moment when you are starting the day, and in the moment that then there will be some pips after. Or if you are at the end of the day, of course there are more limitation, more activity of buyers and sellers that now are confused, or they are changing their opinion, or they're knowing something that others don't know. So that would be more hard to make some money. And somehow in this way I showed you also an event where it occurred that I had to open my charts and do it now. Otherwise I would have waited till tomorrow, and every day is generating new assets in the markets and new situations. So sometimes it's better to take what the days is giving you for that day, even if the profit maybe you would have made the double, but it's always a nice spot for today, and wait for the next day, because other currencies will configure, okay, and we will then have other assets to choose and to trade profitably. The more we are doing this day by day on a daily basis and following only that, the more we will have also some trades that will be positioned at very safe level prices, that we can also understand to keep them for the whole week or longer than a week. But this process must be gradual, and must follow up an understanding of what they are doing in real with all these elements in the markets. And at the different times we can see maybe a currency pair that is extremely bought in the ASEAN session, or extremely bought and sold in the ASEAN session. Like here, they have completely bought the Swiss franc against the Australian dollar. Then there was the retracement. Then again, even in the London session. And so it's obvious that could be also still a sell activity. But now we have to be careful about these levels that are revealing by the American session. In the United States here, they are making different policies at this moment. So we are having this activity now, and probably something will reveal in the next hours. Also, we can see that this channel is representing how the currency behaves along the day. So now we can see that there has been some retracements at this lower level, then at the top this level has been broken. So I can also expect that this sell limit at a certain point by the algorithm, this currency pair will no longer be what we have to seek for the day, but there will be other currency pairs. It's too late now for this pair probably. Okay, should have took it here, and look, this is very disgusting because it's not possible. There was a level, this level probably would have been here. This price, this line would have been somewhere like here, and I would have taken this 300 pips. Anyway, it's just also, you know, a way to explain that it's not an exact science. It's not something that is mathematically, even if we use math, exogenous factors that can influence a currency pair at every moment are behind the corner. So the narrowing of the currency pairs to the very few that can be interesting for that day, or as I showed you as a quick recap on this chart, for as regard a different time frame analysis where I decided to go with the New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen, even if in this day they were not revealing the strongest and the weakest. They were anyway strong and weak. But this is the behavior that I consider it as well, because if we look at from a more wide perspective, we can see the relevance also of the observation on an even longer time frame than the day. Okay, so with this final results for as regard, you know, the activity of today and the ending output that we can see is not very. We have just made 8 trades. 8 trades on which these are the percentage of the results and the drawdown and whatever you may check by yourself, and this occurred in very few hours, and here are all the statements that you can verify. Okay, so with this I say hi to you. Thanks again for watching and for writing me and for supporting me. It's very important this, and I take good energy from this, and I hope that this also has explained another way to operate more manually, because this computer is the most powerful ever, and if we only rely on tools that have also to execute, we are of course sometimes getting rid of the stress. Other times we can go towards a very deep stress because maybe things are going against us, and we don't know why. But by having a bit of knowledge applied on simple elements that anyway are quite easy to understand, minus huge number is very negative, a plus huge number is positive and strong, so it's very easy at the end to understand in the symbolism, but then it takes also some kind of a practical application in order to get improved. We see that by using our computer and our software along with this computer and software, the results can be, you know, even more simple, and somehow that can give us the boost for the next day, and some kind also of safety, because what I'm trading the next day will be anyway supported by a bit of gain that I made in the yesterday. So I will be even more easy in taking some positions and suffering a bit of, you know, drawdown, 10 pips, 15 pips, but I have a bit of compensation and suspension in my stress that is given by the previous day activity. And this is always a result that we should achieve almost every day, if not every day. Okay, so thanks again for watching. Have a good space and time, and always available for your comments and emails, and always willing to wish you all the best.